appreciate everybody coming out today. A few of the things that we're going to be talking about today are the different operational and strategic reporting options that everybody's got for Dynamics 365 Business Central. Now, I know we've got a mix of end users as well as partners, VARs, and ISVs out there. So it should be a good mix of content for everyone, but we want to jump right into things. So going to start with introductions and kind of a quick company overview. Then we'll get into the agenda and then spend a bulk of the time on actually live demoing the two of our products. So for anybody who knows me, I'm Ben from ERP Connect, and with me today, we've got Dayan and Alesh from eKnowtion. From my side, ERP Connect, we're an ISV. We focus on creating dashboarding, productivity, and automation extensions for Dynamics 365 Business Central only. So we don't do anything else in the Dynamics stack. We don't dabble with any other products outside of Microsoft. We are BC focused only. We currently have about 30 applications in AppSource, about 200 active clients, and we're working with about 50 different Business Central partners today, helping them bring more productivity and automation to their clients. eKnowtion, my colleagues here, they're the company behind Business Central Insights, which we're going to get in a live demo of as well. That's a set of extendable Power BI apps with more than 350 pre-built reports across all Business Central functional areas, powered by a plug-and-play BC connector. These apps are used by more than 100 clients today, and they've got some absolutely incredible app source reviews. So, Dayan, I'm excited to see kind of your live demo today and show everybody on the phone here as well. So with that, again, today we're going to be combining the advanced dashboards from the BC Toolbox with the extensive Power BI reports available in Business Central Insights. Do want to let everybody know that this is being recorded. We're going to publish it on both of our YouTube channels if you want to check that out, as well as for anybody who registered but wasn't able to attend. We'll also be sending that out. And the final housekeeping item is that we'll have a Q&A slide at the end, but I highly encourage everybody to ask questions throughout the presentation. I feel like a lot of times it's easier to answer them in line. So we'll all be monitoring the chat and the Q&A. But with that, let's start to get into things. So agenda items. What are we going to go over? We've already gone over the company overview a little bit on both of our ends, but we'll get more into the details as we get into the live demo. We're going to be talking about the embedded dashboards and reports that are available in Business Central with our Business Central Toolbox, and then also how you can use Power BI to extend reporting into the stratosphere, right? We can do so many things with Power BI, and Business Central Insights is going to help us do that. Now, it's important to know why we're doing these things, right? We're going to talk about time to value. So how long does it take to get these things installed? How long does it take the data to refresh, both in Business Central as well as in Power BI? And then what kind of balancing act do we have, right? So there's a lot of balancing when it comes to operational reports, seeing things like your balance sheet, your income statement, your AR aging, and things like that. And those are different things to consider than when looking at strategic KPIs. So not only are we going to talk about the reports, but we're going to talk about kind of who can benefit from each of these. And then again, like I said, Q&A at the end, but I really highly encourage everybody to ask questions throughout. So with that, we're going to be doing a little bit of tag teaming before we jump into the live demo. I'll pass it over to you guys to talk about some of the synergies between these operational and strategic KPIs before I jump into live demo. But with that, Alesh, pass it off to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to be here with you today.
Yeah.
So I think for a company, to achieve a lasting success, it's really crucial to find the right balance between operational and strategic KPIs. While operational KPIs help to maintain effectiveness and efficiency of daily tasks and ensure kind of short-term targets are met with precision. On the other hand, strategic KPIs guide actions towards fulfilling companies' long-term aspirations and, let's say, its future prosperity. And if you integrate these two sets of KPIs into a kind of unified approach, companies can make sure that their immediate activities are in harmony with their overall long-term goals. And now this paying attention to this unified approach is even more relevant if we are aware that operational and strategic KPI data are typically consumed using different tool sets. And this slide here is basically kind of official Microsoft slide. It's basically taken from their portal. And within the Microsoft stack, you would typically see operational information being consumed directly through Business Central UI, sometimes also leveraging Excel. On the other hand, consumption of strategic information needs to be supported by extensive is usually needs to be exported as extensive visualization, aggregation, and other capabilities on a larger set of internal and often also external data. And within Microsoft stack, Power BI is for sure the go-to solution for strategic reporting. So now, if you run a consulting business, you can, for example, see your monthly profitability KPI going up when some of your senior well-paid consultants leave the company. Why? Well, if you have no other choice than sending juniors, presenting and billing them as seniors and hoping that they will do the job. And as consulting is typically a bit of sticky business, you have a window of few, typically very profitable months before the affected customers get fed up and call you competitors. So you can see that if you're not really if you just monitor short-term profits, you will sooner or later start losing your customers because you're not basically able to follow all the other KPIs. And this is where this kind of synergy of operational and strategic KPIs comes into play. And now the other thing which is also important is that generic Business Central data and process model supports various industries, business models and operation sizes through extensive setup capabilities, and if necessary, also by allowing various extensions. So basically, you can use your Business Centrals to do really a lot of things. But getting transactions through seems a kind of implementation achievement that still doesn't ensure that we are able to understand and control our business. And setting up relevant reports is key. And while a generic ERP data and process model might work, key reports will very often need to be at least partially adjusted to the specific industry and business model. And this is basically where specialized partner solutions as Business Central Insights and ERP Connect Toolbox come into play, together providing kind of advanced operational and strategic reporting capabilities, which will fit your industry, and it will be, kind of adjusted for various user roles and processes and also company sizes.
Yeah, definitely. I love the consulting example that you brought up, right? Because I think everybody on the phone can understand that. And we'll get into a few more things here, but I think that's a great segue into looking at both short-term things, right? Okay, I've got my AR, I've got my AP, my cash flow, my income statement look good, but how are my NPS scores for my customers, which you're never going to find in a financial report, right?
Yeah.
And being able to look at those things to exactly say, right? Like your customers aren't going to leave after 3 or 6 months if you just cut all your costs and outsource everything for 10% of the cost, right? And you'll be very profitable for a short period of time, but after that, things may start to change. And I think those are the things that we're trying to balance today. So for a majority of this, we're going to go into a live demo. I'm going to be showing a handful of our different reports that are all directly embedded into Business Central. But before getting into that, just want to share a few things, other things about the Business Central Toolbox. So it's not just the 4 dashboards and reports that you're going to see today. It's a full suite of dashboarding, productivity, and automation tools. Currently have 30 extensions built natively into BC, and a lot of these focus around filling gaps and enhancing different modules, right? So all of these tools come from our team's experience either as consultants or developers, and our time working, consulting, and implementing Business Central, and kind of seeing those gaps that common customers were always commonly requesting, right? So like I said, this is kind of our greatest hits, right? We're going to focus on the far left, the dashboards, but we've also got a lot of AR automation and our invoice and statement delivery. We've got prepayments, payment plans, automating customer statements, and then we've got some alternative modules like our advanced CRM and project management. So if you're not quite ready for Dynamics 365 CE or CRM, we've got a great CRM tool that sits directly in Business Central. Again, an alternative to the jobs module, we've got a project management tool. And then some of our upcoming tools that we're creating right now focus on commissions management, expense management. So a lot of cool things out there. But again, we're not going to harp too much on those. We're going to go right into the Business Central Toolbox live demo of our dashboards. So I'm actually going to hop over to Business Central now. And one of the first things I always like to start on is our accounts receivable overview. Again, a very operational report that we're going to see directly in Business Central here. And the first thing I like to do is always compare it to what Business Central thinks is a sufficient aged accounts receivable report, right? This one always makes me laugh because it's really difficult to kind of navigate. Sure, I can see the customer number and what's in each bucket, but if I want to see what's in that 975, I start clicking on it and it just starts highlighting a PDF. That's not great from a user experience standpoint, right? So what we set out to do, and this was one of the first things that we actually created in the financial dashboard, was our AR overview, right? So it's intuitive. It lets you see these things directly embedded into Business Central. If I want to know what's in the AG group for 162,000, all I have to do is click on it. And what does that do? It brings up our customer ledger entries. So from a user standpoint, you're jumping into tables that you're already familiar with, right? You're not building a complex data model with webbing a bunch of different tables together. It's just pulling in exactly what you need, right? And again, these are going to be some more basic things like the AR aging, the AP aging, balance sheets, income statements, cash flow, things like that. But it makes it a lot more intuitive. It gives you some visualizations directly embedded in the user interface, but I can still see my detailed AR aging details in view, right? I've got my customer list, where they're located, credit limits, terms, average paydays. This is one of my favorites. This is a custom calculation that we put in there. It's kind of your day sales outstanding per customer. So you can see on average, how long is that customer taking to pay? In this case, their payment terms are 7 days, but their average paydays are 93 days. That's obviously not good. We flag them as a late payer. We bold them. We put them in red. Really everything we can do to indicate that this might be somebody that you want to take a look at. And again, it's still intuitive enough to click on that and see all the payments and invoices. Maybe there's some unapplied payments, as well as the invoices that you could apply to there. So again, general theming here is that everything is directly embedded. You can click on it. It's more visually appealing, and it's just easier to work with and more intuitive, right? And then as we come across these different tabs, I'm in the AR tab right now. That's just the tab that I favorited. So that's what'll pop up every time I come in. But as we go across these tabs, I like to think of the financial dashboard specifically, which is our first of 4 dashboards, as the health check for Business Central, right? So kind of as you're driving down the road, is your check engine light on? Do I need to take it in for service? How's our business doing? Things like that. We can see directly in the user interface. Other things on the general tab that I've got some quick KPIs. Again, eKnowtion guys are going to expand on this. Again, far and beyond the KPIs that we have. But if you want to see some basic KPIs in the system, we've got you covered. You can see your financial statements, like your income statement and balance sheet, all in one view. And then from an operational standpoint and a health check standpoint, the balance checks are crucial, right? This is showing you, is your subledger and general ledger tying out? Is it in balance or not? And again, that check engine light analogy, if it's not, if I see the out of balance flags here, that means I absolutely need to take it in for service. I need to either fix it myself if I'm handy, or I need to take that to my partner, my consultant, so that they can take a look at it and see where I'm off and help me fix it, right? So operationally, if your subledgers and general ledgers aren't in balance, you can do anything in the world that you want in Power BI, but it's not going to be worth anything, right? Because garbage in, garbage out type mentality. If your cash doesn't balance to your cash subledger, who knows if what I'm reporting on is even accurate, right? But if you can get this all tied out, which we can check there in a few seconds, then you have the confidence that all of your other reports are likely correct just based on this simple balance check, right? I'm not going to have time to go through everything else today, but I know everybody loves looking at cash, so we'll look at this one real quick before jumping into some of our others. But again, financial dashboard, kind of very high level, looking at general ledger data, AR, AP, inventory, sales. We're on cash now, so quickly analyzing, what are my cash balances or cash availability per bank account by bank account. Does my cash tie? Again, a very key operational metric there. You want to 100% be tying out. Liquid assets, historical cash usage, future cash forecast, all of that good stuff you can see directly in the financial dashboard. Now, before I jump to this next one, I'm just going to see if there's any questions. Doesn't look like there are any yet. If anybody has questions throughout the presentation, please just drop those in the chat. I know we're about 15 minutes in, so if everybody's still with me, if you just want to throw a little react button or something in there to know I've still got everybody's attention, that'd be great. And then we'll keep on going here. All right, looks like we got a few going there. So we're going to put the financial dashboard to rest for now and hop over to our sales dashboard. Again, for the sake of time, we're only going to go through a handful of things here, but shifting from finance, we saw that sales tab. We got a ton of requests over the last few years for more sales data. So we ended up just creating a full blown sales dashboard on its own, right? The most popular metric typically is sales by state. If you're located in the United States, we also got a map for Canada, or the world map, right? If you're international, I can see now how much I've got in the US, Canada, how much I've got in Australia. And I can click again into any of these. So kind of just showing the ease of use and how I can kind of just drill into various things. I can drill in. I'm in the posted sales invoices now. And again, not really anything that you've had to set up here. So I know one of the bullet points we had was time to value. So how long does it take to set these things up, right? For these dashboards, you can download them all directly off of AppSource. And within 15 to 30 minutes, I would usually say, you're up and running. A lot of times, like on the financial dashboard, 80% of that requires no configuration at all. So if you wanted to just be at a 80th percentile, it would take 5 minutes to download it and add permissions, right? If you want to add some of those cash flow things and some of your KPI goals, which are important, definitely in my opinion, you would need to go ahead and configure those. But again, 15 to 30 minutes typically. Our team, we got a full team of professional service product managers can help out with that. So you can read the guides if you'd like, but we're also always here to help. So again, with that sales dashboard, we're going to be looking at things like geo sales, which we're on right now. I've got some by date, by item, by dimension, by salesperson, right? Think about slicing and dicing the different data metrics, but what we've gotten here, kind of what you see is what you get, which is why it's so easy to stand up and kind of just put into your system, right? So as we're going through these things, there isn't a lot of configuration, which also means you're not just going to come in here and customize those. I know Dayan's going to get into that in his live demo about how on theirs, you kind of pop in and then that's the starting point, but you can play with it and edit it as well, which is kind of why we've put on this presentation today, right? To show you all the different options that you have. But again, how much have we sold today, this week, this month, this year? Sales by date, year-to-date sales, monthly sales. Again, taking those and visualizing them in Business Central, which out of box just is not available. We've got other things like you can do by item, by dimension, salesperson, customer, back order. So my recommendation here, and we'll get into it at the end, download our free 30-day trial, right? See it with your own data. I know seeing the visualizations probably helps, but seeing this stuff with your own data just means so much more as you go through it, right? So again, highly recommend that. We'll jump into our warehouse dashboard next. Again, just showing different metrics. We've shown financial, we've shown sales. Now we're going to get into a hyper focus on warehousing, shipments, receipts, counts adjustments, inventory value and metrics, things like that, right? So quickly here, I can see how much have we, I think I'm on the shipment tab. Yep. Shipments. How much have we shipped today? How much have we shipped this week, this month, this year? What's our daily average of shipments? Again, we tried to take the most popular requests from customers and put them directly into our dashboard so that, again, you can plug it in and it's just going to pull right off of the tables that you know and love in Business Central for sales orders, shipments, invoices, all that good stuff, right? Kind of some metrics. How are shipment lines by date, shipment lines by year over the last 6 years, monthly shipments or declining, right? That's not good. Monthly shipment lines is going down. Hopefully our order volume in terms of dollars is bigger. What days of the week are we mainly shipping on? Monday through Thursday. If we've got staffing in the warehouse, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we don't really need it. We shouldn't be paying for that just because nobody's actually shipping or receiving anything. And then again, some customer shipment statistics. So if we look at these customers, we can see number of on-time shipments we've made to that customer, same day shipments, percent same day, and then kind of like, again, their metrics of various shipment statistics there. Item shipment statistics, again, kind of same thing, item by item, how many are we shipping, on times, same day shipments, things like that. The other one I like to show here, and then we'll jump over to our history and statistics to end things up, just keeping watch on the clock here, is our purchase orders. So one of the big issues I always see at clients is they're working with purchase orders, sending them to their vendor, but you have no control over when your vendor is going to send you something. Sure, there's a promised or expected receipt date and things like that, right? But at the end of the day, you're at the mercy of your vendor to deliver to you, right? So not only do we take this from a dashboarding perspective to show you the information, but we can, let's jump in here. We can go ahead and actually send follow-up emails directly from a dashboard, right? So I think one of the advantages of coming directly into Business Central here, let's let a few more people in, looks like we got some late joiners. one of the other things about this dashboard is not only looking at data, but why are we looking at data, right? We don't just come in and look at our dashboards for fun because they're pretty, right? We come in, we look at our dashboards, and we want to make either financial, strategic, whatever it might be, decisions based on that data. So clearly here we can see we're looking at our purchase orders. We see that a lot of these purchase orders are going to be helping fulfill past due sales orders. So because our vendors aren't delivering on time, means now I can't deliver on time downstream to my customers, right? So I want to take action on this. Okay, well, you don't even need to go email them. You come right in here, send the follow-up email, and you're all good to go directly from the user interface, right? So as we go through this, we should be asking ourselves the question of, why would I use this, right? I would use this to do these certain things, right? I'd use it to look at the data, see what's past due, and then actually send my vendors these notices. Why would I look at accounts receivable aging, right? Because I want to take action, and I either want to use maybe our invoice and statement delivery tool to send those out automatically, send invoices, send statements, right? There's always a next step. I look at the data, and then what am I going to go do with it to move my business forward and continue to, add value, whether it be internal to shareholders, again, whoever your stakeholders are. Last thing I'm going to show, about 5 minutes left on the Business Central Toolbox, and I will pass it over to these guys to talk more about Power BI, is our history and statistics. So everything we've talked about so far has been kind of high level, right? We're looking at the company as a whole. We're looking at our financial performance across everything. We're looking at warehouse performance across all of our warehouses. This is going to be a deep dive. So let's kind of flip the switch here, right? And now I'm just looking at one specific customer, as I can see up top here. So how much have we sold to this customer over the last 12 months? What's their current balance? How long does it take them to pay us? How long does it take us to fulfill their orders typically? What's our on-time delivery percentage? What are we selling them, or what are they buying from us, right? What are their monthly sales trends? So again, you can start to take some quantitative data and really analyze it qualitatively, right? In this case, I'm looking at this customer and I'm seeing a lot of red flags, right? They've got a high balance. They're taking a long time to pay. All of their money basically is 121 or plus past due. Our AR balance is continuously increasing. They're only buying one item from us, so they're not really diversified. They're in Dallas, which I'm in Dallas too, so I could drive down the road and maybe go find them and see why they're not paying, right? What items are they buying from us? Every item they've bought from us in the last 12 months. Open orders, right? I've got almost $300,000 of open receivables with them. I'm going to hold these. I'm going to hold on to these orders for now, right? I'm not sending out more stuff. They're about to hit their credit limit. A great dashboard when we think of the why. Who is this for? And why would we use it, right? Customer service teams, sales teams, anybody who's deeply looking at customer information can benefit from this to, again, kind of look at it and qualitatively make some analysis. And then the last part, which is one of my favorites in history and statistics, is the change logs. See who changed it, when they changed it, why they changed it, what the old value was, what the new value was, right? I can see that all directly in the user interface now, and I don't have to go to the change log entries, which can kind of be tough to sift through sometimes, is probably the nicest way to say it. And I can also see all of that customer history and statistics data directly on the customer card as well. So if I come down here into our customer card, at the very bottom of the page, I can also see those change logs. And I should say and mention that this is available on customers, it's available on vendors, it's available on items, and it's available on vendor bank accounts, as well as regular bank accounts. And then the change logs specifically are also available on any sales or purchasing documents. Last thing I'll show there before jumping back is our sales document search. This is also part of history and statistics. And if I come down here, this is just a better way to search across your system for multiple documents at the same time. So if I come in here, this is literally going to search across every sales table in the system to return my results. I'm just going to do a quick search for the sake of time on customer 100 and item 1017. If I load the records, it's looking through the system. I'm going to hide the filters real quick so we can get that full view. It's looking for the system and returning every quote, order, invoice, return, posted shipment, literally everything for that customer and for that item that we selected, right? So if I click the drop down, I can see that shipment for this item 1017 is returned there. You can look at headers only, lines only. You can save the views, do all that fun stuff. A lot of good things here. Again, one of those things I typically recommend just popping that in your demo system on the 30-day free trial, playing around with it. clicking on those drill downs so that I can go directly into that quote directly inside of Business Central. If it's open, you can change some things around. Of course, if it's closed, you're just going to be viewing only. But that's my 20-minute sprint or so on the Business Central Toolbox. I know there's a lot we didn't cover, but would highly encourage everybody to download those trials. Reach out to me if you have any questions. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to the guys over at eKnowtion to keep going on our Power BI stuff. So, Alesh or Dan, don't know who's taking it over next, but slides are yours.
I'll just make a short intro, and thank you, Ben. And you're really taking Business Central user experience and productivity to the next level. So really great. So what we deliver from a, let's say, Power BI side, we're actually bridging two gaps. Yeah, one is actually to get the data from Business Central into Power BI, and the other one is actually to be able to give all the visualizations, all the data context, and all the tools that you need actually to do great analysis or to leverage the more than 400 already existing pre-configured reports and visuals. We are supporting up to 15 configurable dimensions. We're supporting, of course, multi-company. We're supporting low-level security. The tool includes advanced cubes and visuals, including typical measures for general and also industry-specific KPIs. All the reports that we have and dashboards are basically built on one side based on like 15 plus years of old Navision and Business Central experience, and also with inputs gathered across more than 100 Business Central Insights customers. We also do this kind of feedback loop. So when our customers say that there is some kind of use case that they would really need, let's say, some kind of support, then of course we try to provide this within our next release. What is also important is that the connector, so basically which is Business Central extension, is supporting also kind of customizations and table extensions that you do. So actually we can bring your custom fields or fields from ISV solutions to Power BI, and also you can use them out of the box in our cubes, or you can add them to, let's say, various visuals. Yeah. I suggest that we now jump in. So Dan will now share his screen, and you'll just have really a look and feel and kind of walk through our apps. And apps are available on the App Source, and it's really easy to find them. We'll show you then this at the end.
Excellent. Thank you, Lash. Let me know if you can see my screen. Yeah. Okay. So I'll start with by explaining how easy it is to install, basically to download and connect our apps with your Business Central data. So all our apps are available in Microsoft App Source, and we have a connector app, which is a Business Central extension, and 11 Power BI apps that cover all areas of Business Central, from sales, purchasing, inventory, finance, AR, AP, cash flow, CRM, also job, service, and manufacturing. Now, to install the apps, we have really easy to use instructions on our website. So on businesscentralinsights.com, you go to help and support installation. Now, there are 5 simple steps on how to install the app. So the step 1 is to install the connector app. As I mentioned, the connector app is a Business Central extension. And basically, once installed, it looks like this. The connector app will basically create all the web services. It will expose data towards Power BI so that Power BI can read data from Business Central and refresh data. But not only that, here you can also do some additional setups, such as dimensions, item attributes, unit of measures, as well as more advanced, such as legacy data, row-level security, or table extension setup. Now, once you install the connector, you can start 30-day trial. And that means you can use our apps connected with your Business Central data free of charge for 1 month. And there is no implementation cost. So basically, you can install the apps yourself following those instructions, or simply reach out to us and we'll help you install the apps. Now, we do also support on-premises Business Central installations. So if you're using on-premises BC, there are slightly different installation instructions, but basically the same apps in the same code base. And we can help you install apps for on-premises as well. Now, let me do a short demo of our apps, starting with sales insights. Now, as soon as you install the app, you refresh data, you would see immediately that we support multiple companies. Basically, all the companies from your Business Central can be imported here. When you open the app, you'll see the home screen of all the reports. You can see that even just the sales app will have around 60 or 70 ready-made reports. Speaking of multi-company reporting, I'll open first sales by company. And in this report, you can immediately see that there is basically a consolidated view across multiple companies. So you have sales by month and profit for each company and the total here at the end. Now, each app is one Business Central environment, right? So if you have multiple Business Central environments, and some of our customers, they have multiple instances of Business Central, usually in different countries. And they can also utilize our apps. And this is probably a topic for another webinar, but you can reach out to us and we can show you how you can consolidate data across multiple Business Central environments. Okay, next I will open the sales table report. Here we have a simple overview, sales revenue, budget to actuals, year over year. And we have those flags, or we call it KPI colors, which is green, red, and yellow. And we know that each industry is different, each company is different, and you'll have your own KPI targets. And those colors basically determine your targets, if you're below target or above, or somehow near the targets. And this can be configured in the connector app. So in the connector app, you would go to measure or KPI setup, and here you can configure your most commonly used KPIs. So for example, if your profit is below 25, will be red, between 25, 35, yellow, and above 35, green, and that will basically determine the logic here. Now, when you see a red flag, you probably want to know more details about certain KPIs and colors, and basically you can drill through and show the ledger entries. So for example, if we're looking at the sales, now we probably want to open customer ledger entries. And from here, you will see basically a list of all your invoices. You can see the biggest invoices and so on. And with a simple click, you can even open a document back in Business Central to see more details and investigate this further. I'll go back. Now, when customers install our app, usually what we recommend them is to start with the cubes report, because the cubes are extremely dynamic. So you can basically get all of your data from one report. And how the cubes work, they're basically like a pivot table in Excel. And it means that you can choose any row, any column, any value, any measure, right, to visualize your data. So let's say that the requirement is to show sales by salesperson by quarter. So what I'll do, I'll choose item sales, which is sales revenue. I will select here salesperson and fiscal quarter. And with few clicks, I have a report ready, right? But you know, in Business Central, salesperson could be a salesperson table. It could be a salesperson dimension. It could be a salesperson selected on the customer card, which could be billed to or sell to. So all of those scenarios, we look at only a simple requirement, sales by salesperson, could be 4 different things, right? So that's why we support different scenarios in our app. So you can say, I want to see actually sales by bill to customer salesperson here. And now further, maybe we want to see what are the customers that this salesperson sell to. So with the control key, I can select multiple rows, and this will create a hierarchy. I can drill down, and now I have sales by salesperson by customer. And I can do it further. I can say, okay, now for each customer, show me the items they purchased. So I just simply add item to this hierarchy, drill down again, and now I see a list of items. Now I see this by fiscal quarter, but I can visualize this by any field I want. So for example, maybe I want to see this by ship to state or country. And now I have quite sophisticated report with a few clicks, right? Maybe I'm interested in sales profit, not only revenue. I can add profit next to the revenue. And now I have two measures next to each other. If this is a report that, let's say, I want to see frequently I can save it as a bookmark, and next time I don't need to do all the selections again. Basically, I can just simply open a bookmark and it will bring me back to this report. Now, the last report I would like to show in the sales app is delivery analytics. So if you're a company that is creating sales orders and shipping items to a customer, you might want to know your delivery performance. So for that, we have a few reports there. We have delivery days, where you can analyze your actual delivery days with requested, and you can see your delivery days variances. And now you can compare your delivery days variance against requested, promised, or planned delivery date, whichever date you use in Business Central. And you can even choose the calculation types or view this information in different ways. So see by customer, or maybe by month, or maybe you want to know which items or item categories we are delivering late, and simply sort by delivery day variance, and we can see the slowest items that are delivered. Now, on-time delivery is a similar report. You simply tell us how many orders, shipment lines, quantities are delivered on time or not, and what's the percentage. And fill rate, it's also quite a popular metric where you can see the percentage of all orders comparing to all orders, shipped orders comparing to all orders, right? What's the percentage of shipped orders, order lines, or quantities? And again, you can see this over time, by item, by customer, by ship to country, and so on and so on. This is the quick overview of delivery analytics. Our next app I would like to show you is our inventory app. In our inventory app, you get all the data you need to do your inventory analysis. So things like value entry, item ledger entry, all of the tables that are needed for inventory planning, such as projected available balance and so on. You'll have reports that are more graphical. We have bar chart, line charts, and so on. And also reports that are more tabular in a table format, right? When you want to know more details. So this inventory overview will just give you the high level inventory value over time comparing to turnover ratio, your inventory, let's say day sales of inventory turnover, all of that. But when you want to know more details, you can open inventory table or inventory cube, and you can simply add measures and visualize this in a way you want. Now, this report is giving us inventory value, quantity, right? Item sales, so the sales revenue, cost of goods sold, profit, how many items we sold, purchased, how many items we have on sales and purchase orders, days since last sale. Now, on the left side, you see those are only few columns that are selected. You can select way more, and you can even choose to unhide the field. So literally you have hundreds of different measures that you can choose and visualize here. So maybe you're interested in quantity on purchase quotes or blanket orders and so on. You can just simply add those fields, and they'll be visible here next to the report. Okay. Now, of course, you can even change the view. This is viewed. So select rows. You can say, I would like to see this not by item, but maybe I'm more interested to see this by location, or by item attribute. You can even say, or even by location and then by item attribute. So now for each location, I can drill down and see the item attribute, which is, in this case, color, right? Now, we also have the standard inventory ratios that are available out of the box, such as inventory turnover, day sales of inventory, sell-through rate, gross margin, return on investment, aging, and out of stock days. Now, of course, we don't have time. We have only 15 minutes to go through all of the reports. So I will just maybe quickly open inventory turnover just to show you how that there are different ways to calculate inventory turnover, and basically determines how you want to basically view your inventory. Is it daily average? Is it beginning and end, average, minimum, maximum? And basically this will change the calculation of inventory turnover. So you can see that we have kind of dynamic way of calculating inventory turnover. You can simply change the calculation and it will recalculate and show you different numbers. Gross margin return on investment, it's telling you how your investment, in this case, your investment in inventory translate into profits. So it's calculated as basically profit divided by the inventory value, and you got the ratio here. What else? So you also have lot, serial number, expiration date, so all the item tracking is there, and as well as I mentioned, your inventory planning or calculated projected available balance. So for example, you will have gross requirement, and you can see all the measures that are that make up this number, gross requirement, and you can even add additional ones. So for example, sales quotes, if you want to add sales quotes to gross requirement calculation, you can simply add that and it will change the calculation here. We also support this kind of scenarios. So this was a really quick overview of our inventory. We could, of course, do more deep dive sessions and go through more details. Now, next report I'd like to show as well is the finance. So finance is something that every company is using, of course, and we have a comprehensive financial reports as well. Now the finance app is the only one that needs some additional setup. So you would go to Business Central and configure your GL account categories. Now GL account categories is a standard functionality in Business Central, and basically it will here you can basically create a structure of your GL accounts, create different categories, and then you map your GL accounts into each category. And this will create a hierarchy or basically structure your financial accounts that you want to see in Power BI. Now, all we did here, we added extra 2 columns, which are those fixed categories, which you will have to map to yours. And that's the only setup. It's one-off setup, really quick one. Once you do that, you'll be ready to go to basically to see all the financial reports. Now, what I'll do, I'll quickly run through some of the reports. The P&L statement, you would see it here out of the box. There's also configuration, the connector app, where you can change basically the categories and configure your P&L to match your company requirements. Now, P&L can be viewed over time by financial period or by week, by month, and so on, by dimension. So all our apps will have a really comprehensive financial report, dimensional reporting as well. So basically, if you want to view your P&L by department, you'll just click on it and it will show you by department, by salesperson, sector. Basically, all your dimensions will be here, and here could be up to 12 different dimensions in the finance app, right? Or even by company. So you will have a consolidated view across your entities, even additional reporting currencies there if that's something you want to use to consolidate your data. Now, of course, we support all the standard financial ratios, things like cash conversion cycle, which is calculated at day sales of inventory, days sales outstanding, days payables outstanding, efficiency ratio, debt leverage ratio, profitability ratio. So all of this is here. Now, of course, we don't have time to go into details, but what we added, of course, since we created this app many years ago, we added the documentation within the app. So it's built in. So you can simply put mouse over this icon and you would see the description and formulas and so on. Even in the bottom left corner, there's this question mark. You can click on it, will take you to the help page, and the help page will have all the KPIs and measures documented, even with a link to Investopedia to read more about the standard financial ratios. So this has been all built in since the very beginning. We have sophisticated documentation. Now, the last report, the last app I would like to show you is our manufacturing app. Now, again, manufacturing app, we could take half an hour or 1 hour to go through in what's all available here, but basically all your data, all your manufacturing production data will be here. production order lines, components, routing lines, value entries, capacity ledger entries, production order capacity need, calendar entries, all of that. So with this, you'll be able to basically to get all your production reports, such as production overview, production table, even Gantt chart, when you can see the production Gantt chart, routing Gantt chart, see the basically all your operations starting, ending dates, and so on time and in full production, which is quite an important KPI in manufacturing. Now, all the costs are there. Things like, for example, standard cost variance. This is something that our customers use as well. Basically, the standard cost variance can be viewed on by default date, which is the posting date, or you can view this by finish date. So the actual and standard cost and variance are all on the same date, which is finish date, and that will basically simply recalculate it. Or even capacity. If that's something you use in manufacturing, you'll have all the capacity reports there, expected capacity need, actual time used, variances, deviations, all of that. Now, of course, like I mentioned, if you need more in-depth introduction or demo, just simply reach out to us and we can do that.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. I think one thing is also important. I think it would be really nice to show actually how you can get kind of field extensions from Business Central to Power BI. I think that a lot of people kind of were interested into this.
Yeah, definitely. So each customer is different. So each customer will have their own Business Central implementation and usually some kind of extension fields or ISV solutions and so on. And usually those data will be maybe mandatory or required for reporting. And you would want to get those fields and tables into Power BI, right? So we listened to our customers and basically we added a feature in our connector app. We call this table extension setup. Basically, it means that you can select any field from the table, let's say from the customer table, item, sales, scatter, invoice, and so on. So there's a lot of tables here, and select the field, and then simply next time you refresh Power BI, this field will appear in Power BI, and it will be mapped to the field that is selected here. So we have Power BI field name here. We know that lots of partners and ISV solutions will have custom fields, so that means that we need to support that. Traditionally, this will require the custom development, which will take time and money and so on. But basically, we support this simply through setup.
Yeah, thank you very much. There was also another question about, how the apps are extendable and if you can add external data sources and so on. And I've just posted a link to another webinar in the meeting chat there in the kind of around minute 25. You will actually see a demo of it because unfortunately now we are running slowly out of time. And I think that was it from the Business Central Insights presentation. And I think we go back to Ben.
Awesome. Yeah. If you want to share that slide again, I know you guys probably want to tell people a little bit more about your pricing, and then I can kind of take us home.
Okay. Well, basically pricing is kind of no-brainer. So it's installation is no-brainer and pricing is also no-brainer. But then you have to think a lot when you see all the data and you have to take decisions. So basically what we do is we have kind of two types of licenses. One is standard for up to 10 Power BI users and the other one is premium. And then basically you pay per app or you pay per kind of bundle. We have typically two bundles that are kind of very interesting. So it's operations bundle and then finance bundle. So the operation, each of them is like $160 or $240 per month subscription. We also offer kind of live support. I mean, live support, you have, of course, to book a call, but in general, this support is kind of free of charge within the kind of reasonable to the reasonable extent. And yeah, we offer free 30 days trial. So you can download the apps and you can simply try them on your data, and you can see if you find this useful. And if you have any questions, just contact us. Any questions with the installation or any questions with basically with the content. Yeah. So that's it.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, and from our pricing, it's kind of the same. If you want to go to the next slide there. So our pricing is all going to be priced per tenant. So just like Microsoft prices Business Central, you get one production instance and 3 sandboxes. If you had another production, another 3 sandboxes, that would just be a second license. But everything you saw today, the 4 dashboards, every metric that you saw, there's about 75 KPIs, metrics, dashboards, things like that. You can bundle all that together for $1,600 a year. So it comes out to about $133 a month. Or if you wanted to buy any of those standalone, let's say you just wanted financial dashboard, that's $600 a year for that financial dashboard that we went through. So all those different tabs, so about $50 a month if all you wanted was one of them. But obviously there's a lot of savings when you get to the bundles there. When we come into resources here, this is kind of some of the parting information that we wanted to leave with you, right? So I'll send some links in the chat, but we've got a full-blown product page. We've got an app source page. I know you guys showed kind of yours up on the screen. I guess I should have done that, but I'll just send the links in the chat. This is going to include summaries, screenshots, user setup guides, even reviews and things like that, so you can see what other people are saying about it. Got a full-blown YouTube channel, which we will be posting this recording to as well. That's going to have video walkthroughs and demos. It's going to have our Toolbox Tuesdays, which is a video series we do every other Tuesday, highlighting some of our products. And just, again, more content that you can go through that will walk you through things like we walked through today. And then our product guide is going to be a full fit gap analysis of all 30 of our products. It's going to have a 1-pager for each, give you some quick wins, kind of how long it typically takes to implement. And I already mentioned our Toolbox Tuesdays, so we can go from there. So with that, kind of wanted to offer everybody that's has hung out throughout the end a special offer, right? So like the eKnowtion guys said, we've got 30-day free trials. If you want to go over to that next slide there, we've got 30-day free trials for all of our tools. But for being part of this webinar, we also wanted to offer everybody 10% off for basically the rest of the month or through the end of July. So for anybody who joined today, I'll be throwing a 10% off code in that you can use directly on our website if you buy from there. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any other additional questions as well. You can reach out at bc@erpconnectconsulting.com, or if you wanted to double down on the eKnowtion stuff, you can go to info@eknowtion.com to find all of that information as well. So again, thanks for joining today. 10% off for showing up. And of course, you always get that 30-day free trial with both of our tools. So with that, I think we can go to our final Q&A. We've got about 5 minutes left, which is right on schedule. I know everybody asked a lot of good questions throughout the call, but if you have any questions that you've been dying to wait for the end for, now's the time to do so. Or Alesh, Dayan, if you guys have any other closing remarks, please feel free to share. But that's all I've got for today, and just really appreciate everybody spending some time with us to learn more about reporting and dashboarding.